We are back for another video here on NHL Confession. I'm really running out of ideas to do at this point in the offseason. There's really not much to talk about. I'm going to finish up the expectations videos here soon, but any video suggestions at all help from you guys. So let me know down in the comment section any type of video you want to see heading into this NHL season. Make sure to drop this Instagram page a follow. A lot of good quality hockey discussion. I'm not sure what I'm going to title this video just yet, but I'm going to be looking at some of the photos and some of the topics and discuss them with you guys and say whether I disagree or agree. Make sure to play along down in the comment section below. And with that being said, let's jump right into it. Starting off here with the first one, Pekka Rinne will start to decline next season. I agree with this one. I don't think he'll have another Vezina caliber year. Obviously, anything is possible with the amazing Nashville team ahead of him. He still is probably capable of putting up a really good goals against average, a really good win number, and a good save percentage, but I don't think he'll be the elite level goaltender he was in years past. I still think he'll be a solid starter, just not really the elite Vezina level goaltender, and I think UC Saros will start to get a lot more time, and Pekka Rinne will start to maybe take a little bit of a step back in Nashville. Nico Hischier is one of the most underrated players in the NHL. I'm going to disagree with this one just because I think one season doesn't really tell what's going to happen. I definitely would go on the record to say he was one of the most underrated rookies. He really did play a huge part of the success for the New Jersey Devils. Without him, they probably would not have made the playoffs, as he was the second leading scorer behind Taylor Hall, and you could argue he is the second best player on that team. So definitely in the coming years, I think he could get that label as an underrated player, but for right now, I wouldn't say he's one of the most underrated in the NHL. Next is Seth Jones will win a Norris Trophy in his career. I'm going to agree with this one. I actually have him as my pick next year. He does have another all-star defenseman in Zach Werenski, but I don't really think that plays into factor when you're thinking of who's the best defenseman in the NHL, because obviously PK Subban still gets recognition and he plays with a loaded defense core over in Nashville. So I definitely think Seth Jones will get a couple of Norris trophies in his career, not one, maybe two or three, because this guy's an absolute monster in my opinion. He put up a lot of points last year and he can still shut down the other team's best player. So for that reason, I would have to agree. I definitely think we will see Seth Jones with a couple of Norris Trophy hardware in his trophy case when it's all said and done. The Sharks can make the Western Conference Finals next season. I'm going to agree with this one. I don't think they can make it out of the Western Conference just because, in my opinion, it's either going to be Winnipeg or Nashville. But 100% I agree, the Sharks do have the roster capable to make it to at least the conference finals and maybe even make to the Stanley Cup final. They have a really solid team. Obviously, some of their veterans are getting up there in age, but for right now, I still think they're going to be a powerhouse out west, and for that reason, I would have to agree. I definitely think they're capable of making the Western Conference Finals and maybe further. The Tyler Seguin situation in Dallas will turn out like the John Tavares situation in New York. I'm kind of on the fence with this one because I think Tyler Seguin could be influenced by what John Tavares did. He won't really be labeled as a sellout, as a superstar changing teams, as you see it a lot in other sports, but not really any superstars just randomly changing teams a lot in the summers in hockey. Usually, if you're a star player, that team locks you up for good. But Tyler Seguin, if he's not happy with the situation in Dallas, and especially if he's still a free agent when the summer comes and they have another bad season, I definitely think he could decide to maybe leave, and the situation definitely has the potential to turn out like the John Tavares one. But if I had to put money on it, I would go with the Dallas Stars probably re-signing him and him not making it to free agency. I just think they need to keep this guy on their team because they are so close to being a playoff team in my opinion. So for that reason, I'm going to disagree, but it certainly has the potential to turn out that way. The Montreal Canadiens made the right choice drafting Jesperi Kotkaniemi, and he will go on to be a top center in the NHL. I don't think a top center in the NHL, but maybe a top 10 to 15 center. I definitely do think they made the right decision. I'm usually a guy who thinks drafting best available player is the right move, but for them, they really needed a center in the worst way, and passing up on Zadina and obviously some of the big name defensemen in this draft, I don't think is going to bite them too bad, and I think Jesperi Kotkaniemi will pan out for them, and ultimately they did make the right choice in drafting the center. Next, this is Blake Wheeler's last season as a Jet. Obviously, we all know he re-signed today, so I'm taking this opportunity to kind of talk about that a little bit in this video. I like the signing. I like that they're keeping him around. 5 years at 8.9. I mean, he's going to be 37 when this deal runs out, but I definitely think it's the right move. Obviously, there's a little bit of risk, as when he's 35, he could take a drastic step back, and you're going to be paying him $8.9 million for 2 more years till he's 37, but I don't really see that happening. He put up 91 points last season. I definitely think till he's at least 37, he's a guy we could see put up around 40 to 50 points even at that late age, so I do like this contract a lot. He means a lot to this team. He's their captain. big moves coming in Winnipeg. They're really close to the cap. They still have Josh Morrissey to resign, but I definitely think they're going to be able to keep this core together, and Blake Wheeler probably is the glue that keeps them together, so I do like this move a lot, bringing him back. Jonathan Toews will be in the Hall of Fame. I would agree. I definitely think he's a lock for the Hall of Fame, and sure, he has kind of the label as an overrated player. He's a member of the NHL's 100 greatest players, and for that reason alone, I definitely think that'll get him into the Hall of Fame. He's put up a good amount of points, but obviously an amazing leader, fantastic two-way player, and I think this is a situation where we could see him and Patrick Kane go in the Hall of Fame together just because of everything they accomplished in Chicago, winning those Stanley Cups, and just really being a modern-day dynasty and a powerhouse there. So I definitely think maybe not first ballot, but him and Patrick Kane should go into the Hall of Fame together in my opinion. Next one is William Karlsson is a one-year wonder. I'm going to disagree. I don't think he's going to completely fall off, but I don't see him being a 43 goal scorer throughout the majority of his career. I think he's a guy who could give you 30 to 35 goals and then obviously 60 to 70 points and still being a very good player. He could prove us wrong and still score 40, but I think he's going to take a little bit of a step back, but I definitely wouldn't call him just a total one-year wonder. Next up is Ottawa would have made the playoffs if they kept Kyle Turris and didn't trade for Matt Duchene. I'm going to disagree with this one. I still think they would have missed if they wouldn't have made this trade. I don't really think it's too much of an upgrade or downgrade, Kyle Turris and Matt Duchene. I think they're kind of similar players. You could argue Duchene's better. You could argue Turris is better. But ultimately, they would be in a better position for the future if they didn't make this trade. But I don't really think it had too big of an impact on if they would have made the playoffs or not. If Kyle Turris was still there, I think we kind of have them in the same situation. And now the last one we're going to do in today's video is Patrice Bergeron will be the Bruins' next captain after Chara retires. 100% disagree. You could argue it could go to McAvoy or Pastrnak, but definitely disagree. I think Patrice Bergeron is one of the best leaders already, just wearing the A. An amazing two-way forward, still with lots left in the tank. Yeah, you could argue maybe give it to Brad Marchand, but just his reputation, I don't think they're going to do that. And 100% I do see Patrice Bergeron being the next Boston Bruins captain. So that is going to wrap up the video. I really hope you guys did enjoy. Like I said at the beginning, make sure to drop this account a follow. I will link it down in the description again, and drop video suggestions down there as well. I'm really running out of ideas, and everything that you guys suggest does help. So with that being said, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please make sure to drop a like on it and subscribe to the channel for daily NHL content, and I will see you guys all in the next video.